Carla, the Crazy Cross Stitch Lady. Welcome to my craft room. I am so happy that you're able to join me today, and I'm really happy that my subscribers continue to join. I really appreciate that. And I'd like to say a welcome to the new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining all the rest of us on this great journey of cross stitching, which my channel is all about cross stitching. I am a public school teacher in Central Kentucky, and cross stitching is a hobby of mine. It is a passion of mine. And so I do these floss tubes to chronicle my journey, as well as to encourage other people and inspire other people, and just to be a very nice enabler, which other people have done to me. So I want to do that to you as well. I need to do a giveaway. I said in my last video that I was going to do a giveaway, and so people participated in that, and I wanted to do that first before I got into the rest of the floss tube, which this time is a stitch with me. So let me do the drawing first, and then we'll move on into the other part. Okay, so this was what I was giving away. This is one of Fat Quarter Shop's Stitch Quarterlies, and I had decided that I really didn't care to stitch this one. There's nothing wrong with the pattern or anything. It's just not really, it didn't really speak to me, and so I wanted to give it a home that would really appreciate it. So I will let you all see the pattern again, just so you know what we're giving away here. This is Lady Claus. And so this is what the pattern looks like. And this kit, I had removed the fabric for another project. So the fabric is not here, but you get a needle, you get the floss, you get the pattern, and you get the needle minder, which is a really sturdy, it's a really cute little needle. Let's see, let me do that. Okay, little needle minder there. And so we have a winner, and I don't know the person's actual name because it looks like it's a nickname, kind of like, or a shortened name, like mine shows up on YouTube as Crazy Cross Stitch Lady. But the winner of this lovely pack here is, I'll speak in a minute. It's like I can't get my momentum going, so hopefully I can get it going during the stitch along. But again, the winner is Kitmar. So Kitmar, as soon as you see this, if you will please email me, and I'm going to put my email address right across the screen there. It is crazystitchlady@outlook.com. So if you will please email me and give me a mailing address that I can send this lovely kit to, I will have it on the way to you, and then you can start enjoying that. And you'll get to pick out any fabric you want to use with it, and hopefully you will be able to enjoy it and enjoy the project bag. So again, the winner of my last giveaway is Kitmar. And so if Kitmar, if you will just please email me at crazystitchlady@outlook.com, I would greatly appreciate it, and I will get that out to you as soon as I possibly can. Okay, so now that I've done some fun stuff, I always like giving things away and helping people out when I can and making people happy. So I got a good response on the last stitch along that I did, the stitch with me, and I had not done one before. So I thought I would do another one, and basically I'm just going to be jabbering. I don't have anything planned out to say. I just thought I would just tell you some things that are going on with me, and just so you can have somebody to stitch with and just listen to me and get to know me a little bit better. I am wearing my Buster Keaton shirt. I am ready to stitch. It's not a stitching shirt, but Buster Keaton's my favorite actor, so I thought he could stitch with us today. So anyway, please make yourself comfortable. Find your favorite blanket that you like to drape over you, or, curl up in a house coat, or, just some soft, cozy sweater, and get your favorite drink. And I like to snuggle in my chair, my rocker, or on the sofa, and just take a little time for you, some self-care, and stitch with me today. All right, here we go. All right, I am ready to stitch. I hope that you have found a project that you want to work on, maybe your favorite project, or maybe just something simple and soothing, and you can just stitch and listen. And so I hope that you enjoy our session today. Okay, so I thought I was going to stitch on my Kentucky map, but I decided to do something else. So this is Stitching with the Housewives, month to month October. And so they have the little small roundabout that you can do, and then they have this bigger one. So I decided to do the larger one, and this is my birthday stitch, even though I started on it last year, but I've really focused on working on this year, trying to get it done, because this year was my 50th birthday. And so on the pattern, this little bird right here, let me bring it up. Okay, so this bird up here, I did not stitch it. I stitched the number 6 because the day of my birth is the 6th. And then for the barn, instead of the loft door, I left that out and I put the year 1973 for the year of my birth. So everything else I kept the same. I'm doing the called for colors. All of these are classic color works. And so today I'm working on the barn. I'm on the last part of working on this, and I still have, I think, a few little stems to do. But other than that, the bottom part of the barn is the main part that I'm trying to get done. I don't think I'll get it done in this video, but I'm definitely going to try to make some headway on this while I'm talking to you. And so I won't have to do a lot of thinking as I'm stitching. I'm going to stitch on the side. And so we'll talk about this piece a little bit and the fabric I'm using, all that good stuff. So let me put my pattern over here to the side. I still need my pattern a little bit, but let me put it to the side where I'm not, violating copyright or anything. So let me zero in here a little bit. Okay, so the floss that I've been using is, we've got the Classic Colorworks. This is the black coffee that's on here. Watch me smack the camera around a lot. This one is, it's hazelnut. It's, for some reason, I lost my hazelnut tag. So it is hazelnut, not black coffee, hazelnut. So that's hazelnut. And then I had Pumpkin Harvest, and that's this color, but I ran out of it. But thank goodness I was not doing the pumpkin in here, because I ran out. I thought, oh, yay, I've run out of my overdyed. I didn't get enough, so I don't know what I did there, but something happened. And then the last one is Bean Sprout, which is the green, which is what I'm stitching on today, or stitching with today. So this fabric, here, let me show you what I've gotten so far. So let me come back out a little bit. Okay, so before you get really settled in with your stitching, I'll show you this. So here's what I've got so far. I've almost got it done. Here is my 6 at the top. No bird, but a 6. Here's the 1973. And the reason it is so bold is because I wanted to go ahead and stitch the hazelnut in there. And then I put the 1973 in there, but it wasn't really showing up. I had it actually in the bean sprout color. Well, it wasn't showing up very well, and I thought, I thought it would have showed up better than that. So I went back through and I outlined the green with my black coffee. Well, that was a little better, but not a whole lot. And I thought, gee whiz, I need this to show up better. So I took the black coffee and I stitched over the green. And so now we have a very bold 1973, but I think it looks pretty good, because honestly, it's not that much darker than the word pumpkins, but it really, I like it. I think it's cute. It really shows up. So I'm very pleased with the way it turned out. I found some number charts online. I think it's Lord Lebedon does a blog, and that person had a bunch of free charts where it actually shows like the stitch size of the numbers, and it gradually progresses. So I was able to find pretty quickly the stitch size that I needed. So that was pretty cool. And it's free. It's online. So I just searched for cross stitch alphabets, or not cross stitch alphabets, cross stitch number patterns, and it showed up pretty quickly for me. So one thing I want to tell you about over dyes for especially for the newer ones or people who are just coming back to cross stitch, maybe you haven't used over dyes before. I want to show you something on my pumpkins, and I don't mind this. I think it looks kind of cool, but let me show you how you should be aware of, like, if you're doing over dyes, you need to be careful about the direction that you want to go if you really care about what it's going to look like. Some of you may, if you're thinking, what do you mean over dyes? Well, over dyes are, some people call it fancy floss. That has become a catchphrase, fancy floss. Some people want to joke around and call it bougie floss, which I think is hilarious. But they are technically over dyed because they go through the dyeing process. And they just gradually, their colors change. And you can't, like with this one, you can't really tell all that much. You can tell some of the color changes here, but they're subtle. But they do show up as you're stitching. They show up pretty well, better than I thought they would. So this pumpkin here at the top, I was stitching across. And so you should be able to see some little, it's almost like a little stripy kind of pattern where it's going across, which is okay. But pumpkins, the way pumpkins are made, their grooves go up and down. So I thought, well, why did I do that? Although I think it's cute. I don't mind it that way. But then down at the bottom, I started stitching up and down. And now you can see an up and down pattern of the colors, you know, changing a little bit. So it looks a little bit more like a pumpkin should. And if you look at the printed pattern, they've gone up and down on their pumpkins, and theirs really shows up. So I don't know if it's the camera or what, but so over dyes, the lots have different, you know, the coloring is a little bit different. So that's why if you buy over dyes, you want to get as much as you can in one fell swoop and get what you need for your project, because if you have to buy additional, it may be from a different lot and the coloring might be a little too different. So just some things to be aware of with over dyed. So what I am going to work on today is this barn. I love barns. They're so cute. So let me, whoa. Okay, there we go. There we go. I'm going to zoom in there just so if you want to look up and see what I'm doing, you can. But hopefully you're listening more than you're watching because you're doing your own stitching. So I'm going to, the way I'm going to go on across and come down and go across. And then I'm just going to probably go up and down here. And I'm going to go up and down over by the door because the barn would typically, the planks go up and down and not across. So I'm going to try to do that. Okay, so let me get myself situated and get myself started. You may hear my voice muffled a little bit. Hopefully it won't be too noticeable on the video because I have to wear a mask when I stitch. And I know that's crazy. I have to take my glasses off and I just put a dust mask on because I have allergies, and I noticed that the floss, when I would pull it through, these tiny little threads would come off, and I was breathing them in, and it was coating my nose and throat and making them very sore and kind of dry. And so I told my husband what's going on. My husband's a doctor, and I told him what was going on, and I figured it was I was having some kind of allergic reaction to the floss. And he said, yeah, that's exactly what's happening. He said, just try a dust mask. He said, just change it out about once a week and see what you think. So I did, and it works beautifully. The dust mask works. Hopefully my voice won't be muffled as I'm talking, because I really do need to wear the mask so I'm not breathing in all that stuff. Okay, so let me find my needle here. And I want to stitch on the barn. Let me pull that out so I can actually hold it up closer to me so I can see what in the world I'm doing. Okay, well, let me tell you about my geese. I told you about my geese in the last Stitch with Me, and I was missing them because they had finally flown the coop, so to speak. And they had babies with them, and the babies grew just in the summer that they were here. But they left, and I was really missing them. I couldn't believe how much I was missing them. Well, not too long after that, I don't know if God heard me speaking or what, but we had turkeys start to come in. And it's not unusual for us to see turkeys about this time of year. But last year, I think I saw maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 turkeys together. I never saw a tom, but I saw hens all over the place. Well, I'm gonna move that out of my way. It's irritating. Okay, so anyway, saw about 5 or 6, and we had fun watching them. My husband doesn't hunt them, but we definitely could. We'd have us our own turkey dinner. Well, I think they're very pretty. They're just cute to watch, and they walk around so slowly. But the other day I was looking and I saw them out there, and there were a lot more of them. Now, I had seen babies earlier, but now I don't know if the babies have grown up, if they're different turkeys, but I counted because there were a bunch of them, and I thought, what in the world? They were down by the lake, and I counted twice just to make sure I wasn't seeing things. There were 16 turkeys, 16, and one had fanned out its feathers, and it was so pretty. I thought, that is the prettiest turkey I've ever seen. And so I've been having a lot of fun watching the turkeys. Well, I didn't think they spooked as easily as deer. So I had started to open the door because I wanted to get a picture of them. And you can't take really good pictures through our windows. So I was going to open the door, and it popped a little bit as I started to open it. So I stopped. Well, turkeys were still standing there. They weren't moving. I thought, oh, okay. So maybe I'll be able to get away with this. So I started to slowly open the door. I can't go into stealth mode quite as good as my husband can. But they heard it, and they took off, and they just started flying. And they were flying across the yard and over the lake and on. I was like, I missed. But I was able to get a couple of really good shots of them flying. And one, they're flying like right in front of the lake. The lake is in the background. And so if I'm able to, if I can get on here at the end of this video, I will share that picture with you because it's really cool looking. I thought it was a pretty good shot anyway. So that was the turkeys. And last couple of weeks, as you all know, I'm a teacher, and I teach public school, and that can be a whole interesting ball game in and of itself because I teach middle school. Oh yes, I took one for the team. All of us who teach middle school take one for the team. Because every time I tell someone that I teach middle school, their eyes get really wide and they're like, oh, like, we're so sorry. One person told me one time, said, thank you for your service. I was dying. I was laughing. I said, well, thank you. I just appreciate that comment. Never had anyone tell me, thank you for your service. Oh, I've had people say, thank you for what you do, appreciate you, but no, thank you for your service. But I like the kids. I definitely like middle school. I think they've got such personality, sometimes a little too much personality, but they definitely have a lot of personality. They're old enough where they're more independent. They can do things on their own. You don't have to hold their hand everywhere except for the bathroom. I found that the bathroom apparently is an issue, especially with the boys. The boys have an issue. Don't rock the camera, girl. The boys have an issue with the bathroom, specifically more 6th grade than anything. And so we have to kind of babysit them there, because otherwise they make a whole big mess of things, and they start wanting to tear things up. And, we think it's funny to try to flush a roll of toilet paper down the toilet, that kind of thing. They're fine if they're by themselves usually, but it's when these kids get around other kids, all of a sudden we've got an audience, and we want to, entertain them, either impress or entertain. It's one or the other. So have some issues with that. But, I love my kids. But I am getting tired, and it's not because of the kids. It's just I've been doing this for 28 years now, and who was it? Danny Glover said, "I'm getting too old for this beep." So I feel like that. I feel like I'm getting too old for this stuff. So retirement will be soon. I'm gonna go this summer and check it out, and I think I've said that before. So you can tell retirement's on my mind. I would like more time for my cross stitching. Just would like to do that. I even thought about starting a channel where I read stories to children. I mean, I would like to do, kids' stories, not necessarily middle school, but like elementary school. I think that would be cool, because you can find a lot of stories that are in the public domain where you don't have to have written permission from the author to read them. And they're timeless stories, and I think the kids would really enjoy them if they're exposed to them. A lot of the modern stories are cute enough, but I just think kids need to be exposed to the classics. So I thought about doing that, and I thought, well, sometimes I don't even have time to get my floss tubes up and going as often as I would like to. So I don't know what I would do with the other, but I think, to me, that sounds like a really good retirement plan. Part of my stuff that I do when I retire, okay. So just to, start another channel and make that about storytelling. I just think that would be a neat thing to do for the kids. And I've been told, I had a former student who really liked listening to my voice. She said I had a very pleasing voice, and I thought that was very sweet of her to say. I thought, well, if people like that, maybe this would help kids. Maybe it would soothe them. Or, if the kids feel stressed out, maybe the stories would calm them down. And there was a student who said that she had subscribed to my channel because she likes to listen to me when she feels anxious. And she doesn't cross stitch, but she just likes to listen to me. And I thought that was so very sweet. And I hope that I continue to provide her some anxiety relief, because, we think these kids don't have anything to be stressed about, but they feel a lot of pressure. And I try to keep in mind that things that are no longer a big deal to me at my age, or even 20 years ago, it is a big deal to these kids. And I try to remember the time when I was their age and things that were a big deal to me then. And we need to, as adults, I think we need to respect that. And not that we don't laugh at them, of course, but just, I think one of the worst things that we do sometimes is we will brush them off. We either brush off the kids, or we brush off what they're worried about. And, when you're around kids enough, you know when they're truly worried about something, or when they're making too big of a deal about something and they're just working themselves up for no reason. So you learn where that line is. So there's that. And I just noticed looking through the camera that I'm really seeing this rip in my fabric. When I was cutting on some fabric, I had accidentally, in a couple of spots, a few spots, I see another one, where I've cut through my tablecloth. And I feel horrible about that because my husband bought me this tablecloth and I love the color of it. It's perfect, but I'll try to hold on to it as long as I can, but I may have to at some point get myself another one. So we'll see. I really don't want to throw it out until I absolutely have to if it's just not looking good. So we will see. So I forgot to tell you the fabric that I'm stitching this on. I know I've told you before. This is a 28 count mixed berry. Mixed berry is the color. It's a mixed berry Jobalon. And I have really enjoyed stitching on it. I think it's a pretty color that it goes with this. And I just, because it has that purplish hue to it, I had this piece and I thought, well, I think I can stitch that October piece on here. It fits, it's the right size. And I think it suits it quite well because it's not really a Halloween piece, but a fall piece. And I don't know, I just didn't want to do it on white. So there you go. But I finished my Lincoln piece. So one of my goals was today, and I may still do it, I don't know. I wanted to FFO that thing. I've got fabric for it. And I thought with the Lincoln piece, I wanted to, I think I'm going to put it on, I was going to put it on a frame. And not put it behind glass, but just put it on a frame because I wanted to actually sit it on one of my shelves in here. I've got some decorative shelves. And another thing is I've got some wooden pieces that I need to paint. So I've got a lot of painting that I need to do. Just a lot of things that I need to do in my craft room. And I thought, well, the best thing to do so I don't get overwhelmed is just to work for maybe 20, 30 minutes at a time, do what I can in that 20 or 30 minutes, and then that's done for the day. Because if I don't do that and I try to cram everything in on the weekends, I will feel like I didn't get other things done that I wanted to get done, and it'll just frustrate me. So I figure this craft room is a constant work in progress. One of these days I might get it to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm happy with my craft room the way it is. But until then, if I can just take it 20 to 30 minutes at a time, even if it's like every other day. I mean, can you imagine if I did 30 minutes every other day? That we're looking at about an hour and a half a week. And it's amazing. It really is amazing how much you can get done when you chunk up things like that. I go to church with a lady who was needing to do, I forgot what it was. She was going to do some cleaning and find pictures in her picture album, something like that. I forget exactly what she was doing. But she had several things that she needed to do with that. And she was feeling overwhelmed. And so I told her about chunking up her time in doing it that way. I said, set your timer for 15 or 20 minutes. And I've still got nail polish on that. Sorry, it's squirrel moment, sorry. But I told her I said, set your timer for about 15 or 20 minutes. Do very focused work for that 15 or 20 minutes. I said, that's all you're focused on is that one task. That's it. I said, then once the timer goes off, you're done for the day, for that thing anyway. I said, you're done. Then go do something else. Then do it again tomorrow. Set your timer for 15 or 20 minutes. So even if you do something like that every day and you set your timer and you're like, okay, so I know I need to declutter this room and it's going to take a while and I feel overwhelmed, but you start in one corner and set the timer, and I bet you'll be amazed at how much you can get done in a week's time just by doing that and not feel overwhelmed. And I need to keep reminding myself of that when I'm trying to work on craft room stuff, because then I get going during the week and like I'm too tired and, don't want to do this, but I can manage 15 minutes. I don't even have to go 20. I can do 15, manage for 15 minutes. And it is amazing what you can do in even just 15 minutes. So I'm going to try to get myself back on track doing that. Although today's Saturday. So Monday's going to be kind of a wash, and I've already, set my brain for that because I have to take my dad to the doctor, and this particular doctor is in Louisville. Louisville is about a 45-minute drive from me. So we're looking at not quite an hour drive from my parents' house. And so, I forgot to cut that off. Let me get that. Okay. So I'm going to have to, we're going to be gone for a while. So I have just kind of set my mind to, that's going to be my task tomorrow, is to get him to the doctor and get him back home. And hopefully we can get done what we need to get done. And then Tuesday I can start back into my routine. I'm taking off work on Monday to get him to the doctor. And I am taking my stitching with me. So, because it sounds like we're going to have to wait for a while, and I think that's going to be an excellent use of my time. I can probably get quite a bit done. So I'm going to take at least a couple of different projects with me. And usually the way it works for me, if I prepare all this stuff and I'm ready, then it won't take as long as what we were thinking. I have just put a knot in my thread. I'm trying to pull my other piece of thread that I need. And I just okay, it came out. I just put a knot into it. It's like, good going. Okay, since this is over dyed, I don't do loop start. So, and the only thing is with Classic Color Works, the floss is a little bit longer than I would like for it to be. So I have to be really careful when I'm starting a piece. Let me put this back on. I have to be really careful because it'll knot if I'm not careful. And that's the only thing that kind of bothers me, because it does become a very long piece. But I can't do loop start because it's variegated. All the over dyes are variegated. So I will catch my tail. That's how I start. So let me get my little trusty sponge here. Have any of you all started doing this where you run your floss over the sponge? I found this to be so helpful. I run my floss over this sponge. This is a dollar store special sponge. It takes about 2 sponges, and I just start cutting them I cut them in half, and then I start cutting the square down, and then just checking it against this is like a little salad dressing container. Check it against it, making sure it at least fits in there. And I stack it up 3 so that I have the sponge up at the top, and I'll wet it down. About once a week, I'll re-wet the sponges and shift them around a little bit. But it helps to smooth out my floss, and I don't have to, railroad as much. It lies flat on its own. And so it just makes it a little bit easier for me. Okay, let me get this baby threaded. All right, here we go. Okay, now I think I'm ready to rock and roll again. All right, so I've gone around the windows, and now I think what I'm going to do with this fence, because the barn is behind the fence, I'm going to go up and down with this. So I'll be flipping this thing around upside down, right side up, and that kind of thing. So let's see, let me check my pattern here. Okay, all that is filled in. Okay, so let me get it going. All right, I'm trying to think of some other things that we've got. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Okay, so my uncle and my mom, my aunt, and a cousin of mine, we've been doing this like back and forth email exchange, and we just talk about random stuff. It's a way to connect when we can't see each other most of the time. And so we just talk about random stuff, and we talk about like books we've read or places we've gone. And we were talking about, I forgot how it came up, like videos of some different places. And let me get this thing. My floss is out of control. So anyway, we were talking about traveling to different places. And I was telling them about these videos that you can find on YouTube where you can, basically what it is that somebody has taken a video from their dash cam where they were driving around in a certain city, and then they upload it to YouTube. So I told them that when I travel to some different places, just to get a feel for the place, sometimes I will look and see if there are any of those driving around, blah, 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 name your city. And that helps me to get at least a little bit familiar with the place before I go. And it's very helpful so I don't feel quite as lost. I made a trip to Ashland over my birthday weekend last month. And I just watched some videos on that too, because I had never been to that part of Kentucky. And so I just wanted to be a little prepared on what I was going to see, where I was going to go, that kind of thing. And it did help. So we've been talking about those videos. So if you've never seen any of those videos, it's really cool. I mean, you can sit in the comfort of your chair in your living room and just go some places. And just, take little video tours of places. And that's one of the really cool things about YouTube is that I love YouTube because you can learn things, you can explore places, maybe places you might never end up going, but you'll get an idea and you'll get to see those when you are, looking through YouTube and trying to just, search for different things. So let's see that thread. Let's look. Let's see. Let me see if I can. Oh, I think it flattened out. Okay. So I really enjoyed my trip to Ashland. It was so much fun. I do need to print out my pictures. I am keeping a little book of places. I'm visiting every county in the state. And so on that trip, I hit 3 counties. I hit Boyd, Greenup, and Bath counties. Yes, we have a county that's called Bath. Well, I get to Bath County, and Bath is, I hate to use the word podunk because a lot of people use podunk with Hodgenville, which is my hometown. And yeah, it's a small town. But I don't know. I don't like that word podunk because I don't know. It's just not a nice word. I just don't think it's a nice word. But this reminded me a whole lot of Hodgenville. It's a very small town. And there is a little museum there. It's located inside. It almost looks like a church to me, but it was a bank. It was previously a bank, and they turned it into a museum. I think it's called the Red River Museum. It's in Bath County. So I was on my way home, and I thought, let me see if I can hit one more county. I know it's Sunday, but maybe there will be something open. Well, that museum was open. So I get there, and true to form, and I pretty much expected this, I walk in, and there were 3 people sitting around this table, and they're eating lunch. They got their Pepsis, their sandwiches, all this. I was like, okay, so where's your RC and moon pie? I know you got it around here somewhere. Let's go. That's a Southern thing. But they just kind of looked at me, and I was like, I'm here to see the museum, And so they told me a little bit about it. And It was interesting. It's local history, which means that museum is going to be a whole lot more important to the people there. And I'm glad that they've put something together to just mark their own history. Now, there was some really bad flooding in eastern Kentucky a little while back. I mean, it was devastating because you have a lot of valleys in that part of the state, and they were just wiped out. And so they got hit by the flooding. And so they had to go through, they had a lot of things get wet. I don't think they lost anything, but they had to do a lot of drying out. So they're trying to get that museum looking a little better, like putting timelines on the walls and that kind of thing, which will help visitors. But I went upstairs and I could not help but think, and I don't mean this as an insult at all, but I was like, man, I feel like I'm in my granny's attic. And that's exactly what it felt like. I thought, I'm going through some county's little attic. And that's pretty much what it was. But let me tell you, if you are in need of a millstone, that's where you need to go. Because I've never seen so many millstones in my life. And I took a picture of them. They were like lining the outside wall. I thought, okay. And they all look alike to me. I'm sure they were different in their own way. But, you know, I thought, well, I think a millstone's a millstone. But it was interesting to see how many they had. So I had stopped there. I'm glad I stopped there because it was interesting. And I thought, okay, I got Bath County down. So did that. When I mentioned the RC and moon pie, when my husband and I went to Memphis, I wanted to go back to Graceland. I'd been to Graceland when I was a teenager, Elvis's home. And I wanted to go back there and just see it from adult eyes. It became much more commercialized, sadly. I mean, they were just running tours through there, running people through there. You didn't have much time to see much of anything. They were going so fast. So I was a little disappointed in that. But still a neat house. And I wanted him to go because he had never been. I said, you have to go to Graceland at least once. So if you haven't been to Graceland, or if you're not an American citizen and you're coming to the States around our area, try to go to Graceland because it is pretty cool. It's iconic, or it's become iconic anyway. So while we were there in Memphis, I told my husband I wanted to do a couple of different things. I wanted to go to a blues bar, and specifically B.B. King's. So I wanted to go there. And I wanted to go to Sun Records because I knew there was a museum there. Sun Records Studio is where Elvis recorded his first song. And so I wanted to go there. And we did go there, and that was a fascinating little tour. And they had a little, I guess it's like a little bar area, almost like a soda fountain. And they had RCs and moon pies. I was like, I have to do this because I like RC anyway. And I used to eat moon pies a lot when I was little. So I was sitting there in Sun Records Studio, drinking an RC and eating a moon pie. And I thought, this is Memphis right here. I am living Memphis. And then we went to the B.B. King Blues Bar and Restaurant. It was very noisy. And I'm not talking music. I'm talking people being so incredibly loud. And I don't know. I just did not feel really comfortable there. My internal radar was up. And I thought, And I felt like I couldn't really enjoy the music. I tried to enjoy the music as much as I could, but we didn't stay very long. We left pretty soon afterwards. Because Memphis, well, especially Beale Street, can get it used to not be that way, I don't think, but it's gotten seedy. And if you're from Memphis and you're offended by that, I do apologize, but it's not all of Memphis that's seedy. I'm not saying that, but Beale Street definitely was. We were both very aware of who was around us and all that. And his radar was up higher than mine, but we just, we were careful, and we still enjoyed ourselves, but we were just careful. It's just like around here, we've got places like that too. And, Louisville's got certain places like that where you honestly really don't want to be there at night. When we went to, my aunt and I went to New Orleans, and we stayed in St. Francisville, Louisiana, because we wanted to see all the antebellum homes, and there are so many in St. Francisville. They were just beautiful. We enjoyed that trip so much. But we were asking one of the ladies at the bed and breakfast where we were about going into Baton Rouge, because we wanted to go into New Orleans, and then we wanted to go into Baton Rouge one day. And she said, it's fine if you go during the day, but she said, once the sun starts going down, you need to get your butt out of there. We're like, okay. She said, it gets pretty questionable at night. She said a lot of characters come out, and she said it's just not really a good idea for you to be there at night. So we were like, okay. We actually did not end up going to Baton Rouge. I don't remember what happened, but we did not go there. We did go to New Orleans. We did go to Bourbon Street. We didn't get to see a lot of New Orleans, but we were glad that we did get to go there at least. Let's see, I was trying to think. I remember we had gone at night, which I wish we had been able or had time to go during the day, because when we got there at night, I was driving at the time, and because we were taking turns driving so that neither one of us got worn out, which really worked well. But I was driving at the time, and the Mississippi, if you ever look at a map, the Mississippi basically splits New Orleans. And so when I got there, I didn't know which exit to get off of. There were so many exits, and the map we were using, I didn't have a GPS at the time. We were using what I had printed off MapQuest, and we were using paper maps. And it wasn't really clear which exit would take me to downtown. So I just randomly chose one. And we ended up stopping, and we asked for directions, and they were very helpful. And then I got to downtown where Harrah's Casino was. And next thing I know, we're crossing the bridge, and we're going to cross the river. And I said, what? How did we do this? She said, I have no idea. I said, well, we're crossing the river. And so I said, we're going to turn around and go back. And so we turned around and we came back across. And I kid you not. We somehow ended up going back across that river a third time. I swear, I am not that bad of a driver, but it was night, and we weren't familiar with the place. So it was crazy. We finally came back across, and I said, I am not getting back on that river again. So I found a parking lot, and I parked there. I said, this is where we're parking. I said, I am done. And she said she could tell I was really done. So we got out, and we actually were in the area where we needed to be. So we found a restaurant because we were starving. It was funny afterwards. It was not funny at the time, but it was funny afterwards. And then she drove us out, and that was also an adventure trying to get out of there. We were very glad to get back to our bed and breakfast. I was like, oh my gosh. Wow. All right, so I'm going to finish up this last little part of the, I'm stitching the barn side, and you can see the fence through the barn side. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm trailing my thread over the black part in the back because that's not going to make any difference. But if you have been watching me through this process, you've seen me flipping my piece right side up, upside down, and that's so I can go, that is so I can go up and down and I'm not trailing as much thread that way. So now I'm going to turn it back upside down and come back this way. So let me pull my floss through. And I do need to stop because honestly, it's time for dinner and my husband was feeling too tired and sleepy to actually, a lot of times we'll go out to eat on Saturdays, but I don't think we're going to today because he was just feeling really tired. And I said, I've got a frozen pizza. So see, there's my mask. And so I'm going to just pop a pizza in the oven and we're just going to stay cozied up at home. And that means I'll get more stitching time anyway. And I'm trying to get some bed sheets, bed linens clean, all that stuff. So all the stuff that takes away my stitching time. So, but anyway, so I feel like I got a pretty good little amount of stitching done. I'm a slow stitcher, so that was pretty good. I had a lot of fun talking to you while we were stitching. I hope you enjoyed my jabbering, and I hope you got some stitching done as well. So just for the fun of it, if you would like to share in the comments the piece that you were stitching on while you were listening to me talk to you, that would be awesome. I would love to know what you were stitching on. So I hope that you are so creative and so very blessed, and I will see you all later. Bye.